Hello everyone.
We just reacted to Finnish language and then German language for our other channel, and we discovered that actually Swedish language is closer to German language than it is to Finnish language.
Yes.
It's considered a North Germanic language, Sweden, and almost in the same category as English. In
True.
like Dutch and German, etc. It's all in that category, and Afrikaan too.
Yes.
And so Swedish is the number one North German language. I don't know what they mean by number one.
True.
Like, is it the most like accurately North Germanic language historically or what?
People speak the most.
Yeah, because we just saw the video that like a long time ago, all of these language, English, Swedish, German, Dutch, they were almost the same language. And then it kind of all changed. So yeah, let's react by Lang Focus YouTube channel. Yes.
Let's get started.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Lang Focus channel, and my name is Paul. Today we're going to focus on the Swedish language.
Det svenska språket.
In Swedish, or just
Svenska.
Swedish is spoken by around 10 million people, mainly in Sweden, where it's the native language.
See, the west near the water, it's where Kai are from. From Eurovision.
Yeah, so they speak.
One of the city there.
Sven.
Svenska. Yeah.
Language of around 8 million people, and also in Finland, where it's the second official language after Finnish, with around 270,000 native speakers. It's a continent after Finnish.
There's an island between the two countries that they
Yes.
speak Swedish. I've never heard of this
Damn,
island.
it's in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle, a small one.
With around 270,000 native speakers. It's a continental North Germanic language which is closely related to Norwegian and Danish and is mutually intelligible with them to some extent, the degree depending on the dialects in question. Like all North Germanic languages, Swedish is a descendant of Old Norse, which developed from Proto-Germanic by the 8th century. Over the next 600 years or so, Old Norse developed into the various North Germanic languages of today. Old Norse first diverged into Old West Norse in Norway, Iceland, and the Faroe Islands, and Old East Norse in Sweden and Denmark. Old East Norse then divided into Old Danish and Old Swedish by around the 13th century. Old East Norse is sometimes referred to as Runic Swedish and Runic Danish, even though they were basically the same until around the year 1100. This name comes from the fact that it was written in the Runic alphabet, specifically the Younger Futhark alphabet. The Latin alphabet was adopted in Sweden around 1225 due to the Christianization of Sweden, and this marks the beginning of the Old Swedish period. Later that century, the Hanseatic League began to arise. It was an alliance of Middle Low German-speaking trade communities spread out across the Baltic region and Scandinavia, including the major cities of Sweden. Through its Baltic region and Scandinavia, including the major cities of Sweden.
Is the yellow? Oh, the yellow. Is it that small island from earlier? I know. I cannot see well. What is this
Oh wait,
on the map?
it look big.
Yeah, and it go until like is it the dot? The nether? Wait, it's because it's all the map is all
Spread out across the Baltic region and Scandinavia, including the major cities of Sweden. Through its domination of trade over the next several centuries, and through the settlement of aristocratic families from what is now northern Germany, Middle Low German had a significant impact on the vocabulary of Swedish. Swedish also became simpler in its grammar as it developed from Old Swedish to modern Swedish. It originally had a more complex case system, 4 cases rather than the current 2 cases, 3 genders rather than the current 2 genders, and a more complex verb system. The printing press and the publishing of a Swedish Bible in the 16th century, the Gustav Vasa Bible, marked the beginning of the modern Swedish period. The Gustav Vasa Bible was a major...
Vasa, isn't it the name of the boat?
Yeah,
That sank it when it was recovered like 60 years ago?
the boat.
step towards more standardized orthography. But it wasn't until the 19th and 20th centuries that Swedish became more uniform due to migration and urbanization, and a standard language was created. By the time of the spelling reform of 1906, Swedish was almost the same as the contemporary Swedish in use today. Today, Standard Swedish dominates throughout Sweden in general, and most people are fluent in it. Regional dialects are still widely spoken, though they are not quite as distinct as they once were because of the influence of Standard Swedish. The main dialectal difference today lies in accent. Let's examine some of the features of Swedish, focusing on Standard Swedish. There are 29 letters in the Swedish alphabet, 9 of them vowel letters and 20 of them consonant letters. But those letters represent more than 20.
The only three difference is that they have AAO with punctuation. The rest is the same as English. Maybe that's why it's a little bit easy.
29 distinct phonemes. The vowel letters represent pairs of short vowels and long vowels, with short vowels appearing before a long consonant, that means 2 or more consonants, and long vowels appearing before a short consonant, meaning a single consonant, or before a vowel or at the end of a word. In most cases, the long and short vowels are also different in quality, not only length. For example, this word has a long vowel,
Glas.
and it means glass. This word has a short A vowel,
Glass.
and it means ice cream. This word has a long vowel,
Bot.
and it means cure.
Boot.
This word has a short vowel,
Bot.
and it
Wait, where do you see the short vowel though?
With the double.
Where do you see this? Where do you see the short vowel in the word on the right?
When they add another letter.
Oh. Okay, but it's because yes, but on the right, the O, it's supposed to be the. Okay, I'm confused. I thought because the long and the short, the letter is supposed to be different on the left, but on the right, it's still OT. The OT, there's no difference in the OT. It's still like an OT. But on the left, long and short, it says that it's supposed to look different, the letter a little bit, but it doesn't. Right?
Okay.
means
Confused
stay.
by that a little bit.
Standard Swedish has no phonemic diphthongs, though some dialects, such as the Scanian dialects of southern Sweden, do. Some consonant sounds are represented by digraphs. These digraphs all represent the sound y, as
Yeah.
does the letter j, as well as g before front vowels. These digraphs all represent the sound ch, as does sk before front vowels. Otherwise it's pronounced sk. These digraphs represent sh, as does
Sh.
k before front vowels. Otherwise it's pronounced k. And
K.
sometimes ch, which is used in loanwords. This digraph represents gn at the beginning of words and
Gn.
n in other
Gn.
contexts. This digraph represents ng or ng. And these digraphs represent retroflex consonants, the retroflex element being shown by the r in each digraph. The standard sound represented by r is a voiced alveolar trill, and in some words an alveolar tap. But this is one sound that differs depending on the dialect, with some southern dialects of Swedish pronouncing it as a uvular trill, or as a voiceless or voiced uvular fricative. The letter G is normally either pronounced g, voiced uvular fricative. The letter G is normally either pronounced g, like a
G.
hard G, or y before
Y.
front vowels. It's never pronounced j, like the soft G in English. Like Norwegian,
Yeah.
Swedish has pitch accent, a shift in tone on the stressed syllable. Like in Norwegian, there are two tone patterns. Tone 1 is a rising tone. The pitch rises on the stressed syllable, then falls on the unstressed syllable that follows. Tone 2 is a falling, rising, falling tone. The pitch falls on the stressed syllable, then rises and falls again on the unstressed syllable that follows. Many pairs of
This should not have be hard for you. In Thai, there's 5 tones. They only have 2.
No, I'm
You're gonna
curious.
be fine.
I'm curious how they're gonna do.
words can be distinguished based on their pitch accent. Here's an example. In tone 1,
Boken.
meaning the book,
Boken.
and in tone 2,
Boken.
meaning
Boken.
overripe or spoiled, regarding fruit. Tone 2 normally appears in words with multiple syllables and inflection, aside from the definite article. Tone 1 normally appears in words with only one syllable and words with the definite article attached. The N in boken is a definite article.
Jag läste
Normally appears in words with only one syllable and words with the definite article attached. The N in boken is a definite article.
Jag läste boken.
Jag
This means
läste
I read
boken.
the book. Word for word it's I read book the. Swedish word order is SVO as in English, the only difference here being the placement of the definite article. The definite article takes the form of a suffix in Swedish, and its form depends on the gender and number of the noun. Modern Swedish, at least in its standard form, has 2 genders, common gender and neuter gender. For singular common gender nouns, the definite article is usually n or n after a vowel.
Boken.
The definite article for
Boken.
singular neuter nouns is et or t.
Stället.
However, the
Stället.
final T is usually silent in most accents. Unlike the definite article, the indefinite article comes before the noun. N for common nouns,
En bok.
and et for
En
neuter
bok.
nouns.
Ett ställe.
How about for plural nouns? Indefinite plural nouns are formed by adding indefinite suffixes, which differ depending on the noun's ending.
Böcker.
Books,
Book.
Ställen.
places.
Ställen.
For plural definite nouns in the common gender, you add na to the indefinite
Na.
plural.
Böckerna.
The books.
Böckerna.
For plural definite nouns in the neuter gender, you add a to those ending in a vowel, and you add n to those ending in a consonant.
Ställena.
The places.
Ställena.
Han dricker inte kaffe.
This means he doesn't drink the
It's
places.
so...
Han dricker inte kaffe.
Han dricker inte kaffe.
Han dricker inte kaffe.
This means he doesn't drink coffee. Word for
How
word
can I
is he
speak like
drink
that?
not coffee. Again, this sentence is SVO with one difference from English syntax. The negation marker, inte, comes after the verb rather than before it.
Wait!
Han dricker,
In Finnish.
Han dricker
An,
inte
do you remember?
kaffe.
Han in Finnish.
It mean he or she.
It means because they have no gender, right? In Finnish. So an, I think, but I think there's a punctuation on the a.
Yeah.
It means that it's not. It's like they're talking about a human, but not male, female, like gender, like neutral. But
So
it means
notice
he.
that
in
while English
Swedish.
has the auxiliary verb do here in the form doesn't, Swedish has no equivalent of that. If we make the sentence affirmative, it shares the same syntax as its English translation.
Han dricker kaffe.
He
Yeah.
drinks coffee.
Han dricker kaffe.
They don't have a thing like this. They need to use inte, which means not, because they cannot just put one. Because we can say in English, he does not drink coffee, right?
Yeah.
But we say doesn't to make it shorter. But in Sweden, they need to use the not every time. They don't. They cannot say like dricken tea. They don't have that.
The way they speak is so different too.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
you have to put your emotion into the sentence.
yeah.
Han is the third person singular personal pronoun. Swedish has a system of personal pronouns similar to that of English, with a couple of differences.
Yeah.
There are second person plural pronouns, which are also used as formal second person singular pronouns. There are also two equivalents of it in English, one for common gender, den, and one for neuter, de. And there is also a controversial gender neutral pronoun, hen. This is not a pronoun that arose naturally in Swedish.
See, they have n. In Finland, it's an. But in Finland, they don't have male, female. There's some similarity, but it's really, really different.
But it was constructed.
It's closer to German. They have also in German den and det. Something very similar to that.
in order to replace the use of masculine pronouns in contexts when you are not specifically referring to a man or a woman. You know, in English, I might use he or she in such a context. Some people accept this pronoun and others reject it. It isn't widely used in speech, but it's sometimes used in writing and on TV.
Dricker han kaffe?
Does he drink coffee?
Ja, det gör han.
Yes, he does. As you can see from this question, in Swedish it's very simple to form a yes or no question. You simply move the verb to the front of the sentence.
Dricker han öl?
Does he drink beer?
han
Is a cognate of the English word ale.
Nej, det gör han inte.
No, he doesn't. The most common way to answer yes or no questions is to first say ja or nej, followed by de, then a verb, followed by the pronoun, then the negation marker, inte, if it's negative. In many cases, the verb is a form of
Göra.
which means do. For each verb tense, there is only one form of the verb. It doesn't change depending on who or how many people are speaking. So in the present tense, it's
Jag gör.
I do,
Du gör.
you do,
Han gör.
he does, etc. In the past tense, it's
Jag gjorde.
I did,
Du gjorde.
you did,
Han gjorde.
he did, etc. In the
Same in English and same in French too. The verb is much more similar to, well, again, because it's a Germanic language, I guess. Because that's why it's similar.
future, it's
Jag ska göra.
I will do,
Du ska göra.
you will do,
Han ska göra.
he will
Han
do,
vill
etc.
göra.
Obviously, this makes verbs easier to use than in many other languages.
Jag har aldrig varit i Norge.
I've never
Yeah.
been to Norway.
Yeah.
Word
Damn.
pronouns.
Wait.
Jag har aldrig varit i Norge.
Jag har aldrig varit i Norge.
Wait. This is much harder than Finnish. Finnish
Yeah.
language.
Jag har aldrig varit i Norge.
I've never been to Norway.
Nordic.
Word for word, it's I have never been in Norway. This is almost word for word the same as the English sentence, except that E translates as in rather than to. This
But the
sentence
order is easy to understand.
features the present perfect, which is formed in a similar way to its English equivalent. Notice that I said similar, not the same. Here we have the auxiliary verb, the present form
Ha.
of the verb ha, which means have. Over here, we have a form of the verb
Vara.
meaning be. In English, we use the past
Vara.
participle, but in Swedish, it's a different form called the supine. And there's a different past
Supine.
participle form for other uses. Notice also that the adverb
Aldrig.
comes between the two verbs.
Varför inte?
Why not?
Varför?
Means why, and is a cognate of the archaic English word wherefore, which you may know from Romeo and Juliet.
Varför.
Wherefore art thou, Romeo?
Varför.
Which doesn't mean where are you, Romeo, like most people think it does. It means why are you, Romeo? As in, why can't you be from a different family? But I digress.
Öl är dyrare i Norge än i Sverige.
Beer is more expensive in Norway than in Sweden. Word for word, it's beer is more expensive in Norway than in Sweden. It almost translates directly into English,
Norway?
except
Yeah.
for the way the comparative is expressed. In English, there are two comparative forms. First, with the ER suffix, and second, with more before the adjective.
It's funny because doesn't, they don't have in Sweden. They need to see does not. But more expensive, they can put it together. Like one word like this.
With most two-syllable adjectives and all adjectives with three or more syllables. In Swedish, it's similar, with single-syllable adjectives taking the suffix are, and adjectives with two or more syllables being preceded by.
Mer.
In this case, the English
Mer.
word expensive has three syllables, so it uses more, while the Swedish word
Dyr.
has only one syllable, so it takes the are ending.
Dear.
One more thing to note here is the verb.
Är.
It is the present tense conjugation of the verb
Vara.
meaning to be.
Vara.
Vara is the infinitive
Vara.
form. It developed from Old Norse vesa, then it became
Vesa.
vera, then it became.
Vara.
The English verb
Vara.
to be, in all its different conjugations, developed from two different verbs, Old English beon and Old English wesan, which is cognate with the Swedish word.
Bara öl? Nej, allt.
Superlatives.
Ni har
Vilken är Sveriges största stad?
What's the biggest city in Sweden?
största
Word for word, it's
stad.
which is Sweden's biggest city. Here we have the question word vilken, meaning which. Next we see,
Sveriges.
as I mentioned earlier, Swedish used to have 4 cases, but now it only has 2, the
Sveriges.
nominative and the genitive, which is shown with an S at the end of the noun, similar to how apostrophe S is used in English to show possession.
Yeah, yeah.
Next
Största.
is the superlative form of,
Största.
Stor.
which means big.
Stor.
Just like Swedish has comparative forms that partly resemble the English ones, in this case,
Större.
bigger,
Större.
it also has a superlative form that partly resembles the English one. Sta is like the est ending in English, but this one might not be the best example, come to think of it, because it's irregular.
sense.
Most single-syllable adjectives take the ending ast or aste,
Aste.
like
Dyr. Dyraste.
most
Dyraste.
expensive. The form with the e at the end, aste, is used when the adjective is definite, particularly when preceded by a definite article or genitive pronoun. Multisyllable adjectives form the superlative when mest comes before them, like English most. Most intelligent would be.
Mest intelligent.
The rules
Mest
about
intelligent.
single-syllable words and multisyllable words are not 100%. In fact, this word could also be said with ast rather than mest. But the rule is generally true.
Sveriges största stad är Stockholm.
The biggest city in Sweden is Stockholm. Word for word, Sweden's biggest city is Stockholm.
Göteborg är inte lika stort som Stockholm.
Gothenburg isn't as big as Stockholm. Word for word, it's Gothenburg is not like big as Stockholm. Comparisons of equality are formed in Swedish by using
Lika
plus an adjective followed by
som.
Lika.
literally
Som.
equal adjective as.
Lika.
Is a cognate of English like in its use as an adverb.
Du är lika lång som Ella.
You are as tall as Ella. Word for word, you are equally tall as Ella. You may be getting the sense that Swedish is quite similar to English in its grammar and to some extent in its Germanic vocabulary. English-speaking learners of Swedish are often struck by just how similar the two are, and by how intuitive Swedish is for them. The bigger challenges in learning Swedish seem to lie in the pronunciation in the early stages, and in getting used to dialectal variation and different accents in the later stages. But all in all, people who learn Swedish overwhelmingly enjoy the process, and their efforts are well rewarded. The question of the day. For speakers of Swedish, to what extent would you say that you speak standard Swedish? And to what extent do you use your local dialect? And to people who have studied Swedish, what has your experience been like? What have you found easy and what have you found challenging?
I think it's quite difficult.
Yeah, well, because in Thai you don't have that order anyway, right? Your order in Thai is more similar to Finnish in Finland.
Yeah, and also like you not just need to learn how to pronounce it, but you need to learn how to what? Don't just to learn how to read, but you need to know the sound of each word to like each sentence. Actually, this is sound like Thai, and like when you have a question, the feeling will be different. When you just answer, the feeling will be different. Like or when you say no, the feeling of when you speak also will be different. Thing like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, very interesting video. If there's more video about the Swedish language that we should react to, please let us know in the comment below. Yes. And see you very soon.